Right, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a look at Manchester United and we're going to rebuild the squad but only allowing ourselves 4 new players. So before we go into looking at players and looking at positions and all to start, replacing and rebuilding with, I think it's best to kind of have a look at what I reckon, me personally, I think this would be the starting 11 Ruben Amorim would likely go with if all players are fit, and he'll make that abundantly clear. It's if everybody's fit, alright? Because now there's some players in the lineup I have that are currently injured as of recording this video, and I don't want people going into the comments, oh he's injured. Yeah, it's got to do with the fact everybody in this made up scenario, everybody's fit. Shut up. So anyway, we're going to have a look at a goalkeeper and a back 3. Obviously goalkeeper Onana, no said. Moving into the back 3, from left to right, I reckon it would be Martinez, De Euro. Moving then into our midfield, our left wing back, Dorgu. It's Amorim's guy, it would make sense for him to be our starting left wing back. The midfield pivot I reckon will be Man Utd and Ugarte going forward. And then on the right side, in that right wing back position, I think it will be Mazraoui. Moving up then into our front 3, left attacking midfielder, Garnacho. In the right side, Bruno. And then our number 9, our striker, I reckon will be Rasmus Højlund. So looking at that squad now, I think there's very obvious positions we need to be replacing and improving. And I think there's 1 or 2 that isn't so obvious, but I do think we need improvements and squad depth in. So we're going to be getting a new keeper, we're going to be looking at another right wing back, and then we're going to be looking at getting another 10 and a new number 9. So after removing all those players, Onana, Mazraoui, Garnacho and Højlund, I wouldn't be selling all of them. Ideally you'd be able to get Onana out. Højlund, I think it would be a good idea if we could get him a move to like Juventus or Napoli. Mazraoui I like, I'm not completely getting rid of him. I just think he needs a bit more squad depth and a bit more help in that position. Dalot's played there a handful of times and he hasn't really been great. So I do think we need a bit more squad depth to the right wing back position. 10, Garnacho. Look, I like Garnacho, but I don't think he's not a 10, he's a natural winger. Do I think he could develop into a 10? Possibly. But can we be relying on a possibly as one of our starting 10s? Absolutely not. So we need a new 10 and then of course a new striker. As we said, don't get rid of Rasmus permanently. I think I'd send him out on loan for a season or 2, but we do need an out and out proven striker. So let's have a look at the players. So the first position we're going to have a look at is the goalkeeper, obviously moving from front to back. The 3 options came to mind for me, being Costa from Porto, Unai Simon from Bilbao, and then Espanyol's hot guy fucking trend of the summer transfer window, Johan Garcia. I'll start with Garcia. He looks good. I've seen bits and clips and that of him, and he looks good. Do I think he's the guy? I don't know, but I do look, I do like the look of him. So that's why he's here. Unai Simon, again, I've seen bits and bobs of him, but I also watched them throughout the Euros. And then last season I watched like 1 or 2 games of Bilbao because I like Nico Williams as well. So it's I get to see 2 players I really like play. And I do think Simon is underrated as a keeper. I think he reminds me of De Gea in a way. Solid shot stopper. And when De Gea first came to United, he was actually alright playing out from the back, at least from what I remember, and in my opinion, could be wrong. But yeah, Simon I think is just a little bit underrated for the quality he is. Like if you put him into a Chelsea or even an Arsenal, I think he takes them up that extra step. But out of all these options, Costa is just the obvious man. He makes the most sense. Like he's only 25, so he's still in that window of developing, and not so much where he's he's not like a youngster in a way, but I'd say give it a year, maybe 2 at a push. I think he's a year off being in his prime, you know, because 25 for a goalkeeper is like being 20 as an outfield player. You know, they have more longevity. But yeah, anyway, we're going to slot Diogo Costa as our new goalkeeper. So as we said, next position we're going to move into is the right wing back. And again, very like the goalkeeper, there's really three players that came to my mind for this. Livramento from Newcastle. I love the guy. I liked him when he was at Southampton. So, you know, also big fan of Frimpong. I like Frimpong very much. And then Andrea Cambiaso from Juventus looks solid. And I think for me, in my opinion, again, this is all my opinion. If you disagree, that's fine. But for me, all three of them are very solid in that they're good going forward and they're good going back, which is what you'll need with the Amorim system. I know in Sporting he played with more wingers than wing backs, but I just think I was talking to my cousin recently, big Liverpool fan, so you know, fuck him. But no, he was saying from what he's seen when he's watched United is it seems that they're very easily overrun. You know, he was even comparing like a Brentford. You don't have to be a top quality team to easily beat the system in a way. You know, if you just have a pretty solid, just average winger who's fast, you can beat that kind of the wing back system. So I think if you're gonna go with this, I don't think wingers are the best way going forward. Essentially what I'm saying is you need a defender who's solid going forward, like a Dorgu, you know, is a left back but is like decent going forward. So out of all these options, you know, I think the most obvious one and the one that fits that really solid going back and really solid going forward is Jeremy Frimpong. And for the price of him, man, 35 million release clause is a fucking bargain. For someone of his quality, that's a fucking bargain, man. Again, as well, like Diogo Costa, still very young, in his mid-20s. Fucking get him now. Snap him up. He's quality. Moving up then into our new 10. This is where I had a look, and this position had the most options player-wise that I could think of. There's 5. There's 5 players. I like all of them. I really like all of them. There's 2 that are my preferred players out of all of them, being Xavi Simons and Cunha. I love Xavi Simons. I love him, but he's gonna cost too much. I think he'll probably be valued at like 100 fucking million. And again, as I'm recording this, there's talks of Bruno possibly going to Saudi. I don't know how legit it is. There's just murmurs, and that being said, so like if we were to even get Xavi Simons, you need to sell Bruno. And even if you sold him, you probably aren't going to see that 100 million. You're probably likely going to see maybe 80 million of the 100 million if we were to sell him. Anyway, there might be a player in there that some people will go, oh, he's not a 10, which is Baena, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know, don't fucking kill me in the comments, you Spaniards. He plays for Villarreal, really like him. But from what again, this is me just going off clips. Probably not a great idea, because before we signed Anthony, we thought he looked fucking solid. And then he got here and he just spun around for like 2 years. But no, I like Baena. I think if you put him in the 10, he could probably do well. He reminds me a lot of Sancho in a way. You know, can't play out on the wing, but would do solid in the 10. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it there. Another two young players there being Chris Rigg and Ryan Shirky. If you're going to go with one, go Shirky. Chris Rigg looks good, but again, really young. Played in the lower leagues, and Sunderland look like they may be going into the Prem. So, you know, if they do get promoted up, I don't think they're going to want to let Chris Rigg go. And they also have Joe Bellingham, who's being linked to Dortmund. Realistically, they're only ever going to let one go. If they're going to let either go, they'll only let one go. They're not going to let both players go because they're so important to the squad. But But anyway, after looking at all these options, talking about all these options, Cunha for me makes the most sense. You know, he's proven in the Prem this season he's one of the most creative players in the Prem at the moment. Another thing that I like, and a lot of United fans have said they're not sure about this, is his attitude. But when you look at his attitude, I don't think it's like a Jadon Sancho attitude where it's an attitude problem or a cockiness. It's more of a shit stirrer attitude, and he has that little bite in him, you know, where he wants to win the game, but he also... Christian Romero, that's who it is. He reminds me of Romero from Tottenham in that kind of, he tries to get in the head of the opposition, and there's that kind of, I don't know, something about him. I really fucking like him. So, our new number 10 is Matheus Cunha. Right, so the final position we're moving into and looking at is a striker. There's obvious answers, and there's some strange answers there that I have. Gyökeres is an obvious answer, but I think the most kind of shouty, if you get me. I don't know if people get it. Just an idea, and a player I think is overlooked a lot is Openda from Leipzig. I think it's RB Leipzig. Yeah, it is. Leipzig is the German. I always fucking get confused with Leipzig and Salzburg. But yeah, I think Openda's really solid. I think he's overlooked a bit. So he was another player I was looking at. Jonathan David is obviously there, a free transfer, but again, as of recording this, it looks like he will probably end up at Napoli. I don't think there's any point kind of going deep into this. It's fucking Gyökeres. It just makes the most sense. He's played with Amorim, you know. He's one of the best strikers on the planet. Like, if you look at stats, right, this season alone, and only in the Portuguese league, he has, I think it's 39 goals and 7 assists in 33 games. Fucking madness. Madness. How? That's, again, purely the Portuguese league. 39 goals, 7 assists in 33 games. I know it's not Messi stats from fucking season where you got like nearly 100 goals and assists, but that's fucking unreal. Now, I know some people will say it's the Portuguese league, you know. What if he doesn't adapt to the Prem? He played Champions League. That's simply all I have to say. He's played Champions League. He's played against, you know, the best teams that the Prem has to offer, and he's done it fine. Like, even if he has what you could consider for him a bad season, that's miles better than Rasmus Ozorgsi at the moment. So it just makes sense. Get him. Get the Swedish man. That's Gyökeres. It just is Gyökeres. It has to be Gyökeres. Out of all those options, it's Gyökeres. So after making all these, you know, fantasy team fucking signings, this is our squad, and I already think those 4 players just take us up that extra level. Do I think with this team we win the Prem? Absolutely not. Do I think we're fighting for top 10? Yeah. Do I think we could possibly push for top 5? Yeah. But that's it. I don't think we're winning the Prem. You know, I don't think we're coming in the top 3. I think with those changes even, we only push for top 5, top 6. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments. Would you have picked a different player? You know, would you have gone for like Xavi Simons over Cunha? Would you have gone Simon over Costa? Out of the selections I have, would you have picked someone else? Or would you have picked someone I didn't even mention out of all these options? Let us know all that shit down there. Like, fucking interaction boosts the numbers and views on this for me, so will be much appreciated. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll talk to you in the next one.